Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar today with Ivy Academy in collaboration with Ambledown. And in today's webinar, we will be discussing the advantages and disadvantages of online learning. So thank you so much for joining us today. Our last webinar was on critical thinking and the Cambridge methodology, and there were some great points there from the presenters. And I would like to introduce our presenters for today. So I myself will be hosting. My name is Samara Kluter and I'm an academic consultant at Ivy Academy. And joining us will be Charlene Cohen, and she is our Cambridge exam officer and teacher at Ivy Academy. And she's going to be talking a lot about, the disadvantages of online learning and many different aspects of that. And then we also have Michael Emery, who is the marketing executive at Ambledown. And he will just be giving us a brief introduction around that and the benefits as well of students having a platform such with Ivy Academy. Just a quick overview of our webinar today. So firstly, we will have a brief introduction by Michael Emery from Ambledown. And then we're going to be digging into what are those advantages of e-learning, of online learning. And of course, we also have to face the disadvantages of e-learning. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about how Ivy Academy fills these gaps in the online environment. And then a little bit more about Ivy Academy and Q&A at the end. Let's get into it. Some great words by Michael, and yes, please remember to stay safe during these times and just stay positive, I guess. Well, anyway, let's dig into the advantages of e-learning. So what do we have for number one? Online learning helps students retain up to 5 times more knowledge for every hour they spend learning at school. This is very interesting, I would say. And let's see what are the reasons behind this and why are we saying this? So obviously, firstly, we know that there are a lot of distractions in a classroom setup, and students can focus more on the task at hand and leave the social aspect for after task completion if they were to do e-learning. I mean, students get to e-learn from wherever they want. That could be home, at a center. So this is one aspect of online learning. It's less distractions. Number two, e-learning generally provides students with more frequent assessments and quizzes, which most definitely increase retention levels. And that is one thing that we strive for at Ivy Academy, is to implement these different quizzes and using a gamification strategy to help students to remember that what they've learned, to retain that knowledge. Our next point. In many cases, students get to see the results immediately after taking that online quiz to see whether they did well or need to try again. So a lot of the time you'll see online quizzes have more than one attempt. And a lot of people wonder, why should they have more than one attempt? They should have one attempt and just learn from the mistakes. But the reason behind having more than one attempt is actually to help students to pay attention to detail. And why do I say this? So let's say in the first quiz, for instance, they've got 6 out of 10 for their quiz, and they realize that they got the one answer question wrong because they didn't read the question properly. So this also helps students to pay more attention to detail when reading their questions. So this in fact encourages high levels of focus and understanding. Here's some stats. Up to 80% of students claim that e-learning has helped them improve their grades. That is a very big percentage. Number 2. So let's talk about the social environment. So more control over social groups, emotional stability, and social influences. So we all know that, as as a child is in school at that school age level, then they are more prone to the outside influences. So I guess it is important to keep a better eye on that. So if we can see here that online schooling allows for a safe space for children where they will be able to thrive in a healthy environment and join sports clubs or youth groups to make good friendships. So as I mentioned before, students get to study from wherever they feel safe. Or let's say the parents could also feel at peace because they know that the child is in a safe environment and they have more control over their friendship groups. So it's always healthy to, if a child is doing online schooling, to get them involved in other sport clubs or social clubs, things like that. So after all, school should be about academics first, isn't this so? And then social life afterward. I sometimes think that, we get this confused, and there should be a time for everything. Time delegated for, school tasks, and then also for social. So this way, kids are less distracted, and they want to get their work done in time so that they can go and enjoy those extramural activities. Number 3, less time investment is needed. There are several reasons for this. So e-learning demands less time investment than traditional contact school. I'm pretty sure you can think of a few points around that. So how is time saved? Time is saved by not having to commute to classes or go back and forth from venue to venue. This is very time consuming. Whereas e-learning, students get to have all of their work cut out for them on the platform, or have live classes, which is immediately available. Students spend less time waiting for tutors and students. So obviously, you being a parent, you know how it is. You get to class, sometimes the teacher is late, sometimes you have to wait for all the students to join. So less time is spent waiting. Another point, students will have more flexibility to pursue various personal ventures, such as run their own businesses or launch a sporting career. So online or e-learning definitely provides for more flexibility. For instance, a lot of students might be involved professionally in a certain sport. So it provides for flexibility concerning that. And they get more time to focus on what business ideas make them tick, etc. Number 4, I think this is a very relevant one in our times today. Global crisis has limited impact on the academic progress of e-learners. Sure, this is definitely a big one, and I mean, just looking at the lockdowns that have been happening with the pandemic, schools have been open and shut. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty going around on that. So at least with e-learning, students' academic progress or academic work won't really be affected in that sense. Up to 1.2 billion school-going learners in 186 countries were actually affected by the closing of schools during the pandemic, and these numbers have increased. And number 6, it is the greener option. Why am I saying this? A study made by Britain's Open University concluded that online courses actually produced 85% fewer CO2 emissions and reduced energy consumption by up to 90% compared to contact education. So more online material equals less printing. And number 7, saving on costs. What kind of costs are we talking about? We're talking about transport costs, textbooks. Not as many textbooks, or should I say hard copy textbooks, are needed. And this also ties in with the greener option, as many ebooks are provided, and they do actually come at a bit of a, it's a more affordable price. No uniforms are needed to, be purchased as well. Okay, now that we've discussed the advantages of e-learning, we do also need to touch base on the disadvantages of e-learning. And we will bring on Charlene Cohen, who will be presenting this. Thanks so much, Charlene, for joining us. Over to you.
Thank you, Samara, for giving me this opportunity to participate in the webinar. So, as Samara said, we will have to be honest with ourselves with the disadvantages of e-learning. It's not all about advantages. Okay, so the disadvantages of e-learning: online learning can cause social isolation because students are removed from their peers and they're not in a classroom environment. Another disadvantage would be a lack of quality assurance and accreditation in online curriculum providers. Should the students only complete computer-based tests, this might have an impact on the learner's writing skills, especially if the tests are limited in their capacity to assess certain skills that the learner has. Then e-learning requires a strong time management skills and self-motivation. Students may be used to having the external pressure from educators and also the competition from the learners in their class to spur them on to academic achievement. They need to become responsible for their own learning, and they need to become motivated from within themselves. So also, not all e-learning institutions provide accurate support to students who are failing, who need extra support to succeed in their studies. So students might feel alone in their studies because they're not in the classroom environment and they don't have a face-to-face teacher that they can question at basically any time of the day. And then in terms of feedback from assessments and also from understanding material of the curriculum, online learner feedback is limited.
Thank you so much, Charlene. So I just want to quickly dig into what is Ivy Academy and how do we fill the gaps in online learning. So for those of you who do not yet know, Ivy Academy is a registered Cambridge International Associate offering selected Cambridge courses online. So we are very proud of this association. And what does this mean? Pursuing a Cambridge education through Ivy Academy ensures and safeguards the legitimacy of your Cambridge or your child's Cambridge education. And why do I say this? Being a Cambridge associate means that we are always up to date with the most recent syllabus. Our teachers are qualified and Cambridge experienced. So our learners do while they learn, and this is an outcome that is endorsed by Cambridge International. And as mentioned before, with regards to online quizzes, to produce high levels of retention in our learners, we use what we call the gamification strategy as one of our main models of learning. And this includes various online gaming techniques to encourage consistent participation and engagement from our students. I'm going to give it back to Charlene, and she's going to be discussing how Ivy Academy tackles these disadvantages. Thanks so much for joining us again, Charlene.
Thank you, Samara. Okay, speaking about the disadvantages of online learning, there are ways to circumvent or prevent these things, and then Ivy Academy does these strategies in order to assist learners that may not be so used to learning online. Okay, so first of all, online learning causing social isolation. Okay, we incorporate live interactive classes with qualified and experienced teachers and encourage students to reach out to their fellow classmates on the team chat. Okay, these interactive classes are basically like sitting in front of a live teacher in a classroom. The teacher is available for questioning during the class, and then the learner can always put a question towards the teacher on the Teams chat. Okay. Besides from this, the learners can take part in our interactive extracurricular clubs after class hours. So we have a radio club and various other activities that develop the learners' social skills aside from their academic potential. Okay. Addressing lack of quality assurance and accreditation in online curriculum providers. So Ivy Academy is a registered online Cambridge associate, and it's one of the 4 in the world. We're also registered with Sakai to offer the CAPS curriculum. So we're offering a quality education with backing that is worth something in terms of accreditation. So the disadvantage of only completing computer-based tests may be detrimental to learners' writing skills. So students are required to write formal tests and mock exams throughout the year. We just wrote June examinations in CAPS, and there are various assessments to gauge the students' progress as they progress through the curriculum. Okay, this prepares them for the examinations. Okay, students are also encouraged to participate in class projects and tasks, which give them a further knowledge and a deeper understanding of the curriculum. Okay? So with e-learning requiring strong time management skills and self-motivation, so our students are provided with timetables for live classes, and they're also provided with pace setters as a reference guide, so they can manage their time and see where they have to be at the syllabus in a specific point. Also, not all e-learning institutions provide sufficient support to students who are failing or need extra support to succeed in their studies. The students might feel alone in their studies. So each week, students and parents receive a progress report, which is generated through our AI model. So this report will highlight areas that a student needs to work on. Also, in addition to that, students can book an extra one-on-one live session weekly with the relevant teacher, or simply email the teacher requesting assistance. So basically, we have a support network in place where the students can feel secure that people are caring about them and are looking at their progress. Okay? Online learner feedback is limited. So learners have continuous support and they can reach out to the academic consultants and teachers at any time, either via the chat box on the platform, through the telephone, or via email. So aside from this, our academic consultants follow up on the learners on a regular basis. So feedback is being given to the learner all the time, so they can see where they are in their progress. Okay, you can find us on the official Cambridge International site. We're under Ivy Online Education. And here's a screenshot of the Cambridge International site. Okay, so Ivy Academy methodology. So we use a flipped classroom methodology. Okay, so as we said, students will have access to a timetable of live online lessons to participate in. So they know where they should be at a specific time, giving them a sense of routine and structure. Also, lesson plans, guiding and directing learners regarding videos that have been filmed, they've been pre-recorded, ebooks, where students can refer to in their own time, diagnostics, assessments. Also, we have access to detailed reporting as to what the student understands and does not understand. Okay, there are also accounts where parents can log in to remain updated regarding their child's progress and participation rates. So the parents are kept in the loop, and then they can monitor the child's progress through this channel. So then there is also the ability to schedule limited personal sessions with the teachers. Obviously, this will be time related, and obviously it can't be too much, but they are available for consultations via appointment. Okay, and then also we have Cambridge endorsed resources to support successful learning. That's basically we are accredited with Cambridge, and we have sort of a holistic integration of the learning material to offer the students. Okay, so also Ivy Academy offers the choice of 2 distinct curricula. So South African CAPS curriculum, which is the FET phase, grades 10 to 12. That's basically the National Senior Certificate, your basic matric, okay? Also, we offer the Cambridge International Curriculum. We offer Cambridge Lower Secondary Checkpoint, which is grades 7 to 9. We offer the Cambridge IGCSE, which is grades 10 to 11. And we also offer the Cambridge International AS and A levels, which is grades 12 to 13. So it's kind of post-matric.
Thank you so much, Charlene. So let's quickly just talk a little bit about the monitoring learner progress and reports on students' activity on the platform. So we did briefly touch base on that. So basically, Ivy Academy's world-class online platform was actually developed using cutting-edge technology and artificial intelligence known as the AI model. This model predicts the academic outcomes of a learner throughout the course, identifying whether a student is at risk of dropping out of a course. So in effect, it actually red flags a student, and then the system alerts us and we reach out to that student to see how we can be of assistance, what extra classes they need, etc. So here you can see, here is also how a lesson is structured. You can see objectives of recitation, presentation, controlled practice, free practice, and a review. Here you can see an example of how a student is monitored on our system. Here we can see the grades that they get, the time taken to complete their task, when it was completed, when they actually started, did they finish it or not. So a student that would maybe be red flagged might be getting 1 out of 10, maybe incomplete tasks, etc. Then the system would red flag us. So yeah, we receive activity reports where we can monitor whether a student attends a live class. So apart from the platform classes, we can actually also see whether or not a student attended a live class. And this is the live interactive classes we've been talking about, where a student has a session with their teacher. So in conclusion, using the above tools as well as communication with the learners, we always keep a watchful eye on the progress, and we can pick up easily if there are any problems that we need to bring up. So with this information, we can then focus more time and attention on the problem areas of each student. Okay, so let me just quickly discuss our upcoming courses. We actually have 2 intakes a year for our Cambridge offering. We are currently taking in, for our July intake, we have the Cambridge Lower Secondary, which does actually equate to grades 7 to 9. And the subjects offered is English, Mathematics, and the Sciences. And it's a 2-year course that can cover grades 7 to 9. So the student can finish those 3 grades in 2 years. We also have an intake now in July for Cambridge IGCSE, which does actually cover grades 10 to 11. So apart from this, we also know that, as we were discussing some of the disadvantages, students sometimes lack that social aspect in online learning. And this is also one of the ways we fill that gap, is by including some very fun, exciting, and skill-based extracurricular activities. And for the music department, we have a digital music production club, and this is offered by Soul Candy. This one is not included in our fees. It is at an extra cost, but you're paying more for the software used in the course than anything else. Our media club and sport clubs are inclusive and included in the price. And we do have a radio club and a journalism club, as well as a chess club. Here are some contact details that you're welcome to reach us on. We would love to hear from you. You can see our website, so it's www.ivyonline.education, or you can pop us an email at info@ivyacademy.co.za or give us a call 011-551-9000. So yes, Q&A. So if you do have a question, please reach out to us, send us an email, give us a call, or you can make an inquiry on our website as well. We would love to hear from you. So we hope that you enjoyed today's webinar. We hope that it was very informative. And I just want to say thank you to Charlene and Michael for joining us, for taking the time out. Your input was extremely valuable. May you guys have a blessed week further. Take care and be safe.